Okay, we're rolling. Yeah. Hi. This is really the epitome of a pre-taped episode. I'm actually recording this at well, just beginning before 6:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thanksgiving itself. This will go up the next day, Black Friday, of course. I hope everything is going well for people this season. As you know, things get underway for the last leg of the year and the proper, uh, sequence of holidays and celebrations and whatever. Um, I don't know, just overly verbose intro there. So I guess this is just going to be a quick one, really. Um, I think that really, I think the default, weekly coverage of the CHL and USHL can be punted for another week because we kind of can consolidate them with the CHL USA Prospects Challenge having gone down with you know, plenty of entertaining action and individual storylines from members of both leagues as a result of the US NTDP's presence against CHL All-Stars. Um, and, um, plenty of high quality action, and really just therefore, with the presence of these of the USNTDP, who are, the most well-known and high-profile part of the USHL, combined with them facing off against the best remaining talents in the CHL from this draft year, with, many very good players, with, the headliners being Gavin McKenna from the Medicine Hat Tigers, now of course being at Penn State University, and Keaton Verhoff, the D1 of this class, inarguably, um, now being at the University of North Dakota, having left there from the Victoria Royals, having left the Victoria Royals to arrive there, I should say, following his teammate Cole Resney there. Um, Still some very good, talented players on that Team CHL roster. Um, Nevertheless, despite the changing environment and, a lot of high skill, a slightly older age on average due to the fact that, the US NTDP is all U18s, whereas there are some 18-year-olds on this Team CHL roster, um, as was, the case last year, part of the disparity. But nevertheless, as it would play out, the USNTDP would emerge victorious in this series. They took game 4-2. Yeah. So as I is despite the repute of the USNTDP, there were some small time names that contributed to this, like Wyatt Cullen is highlighted as having put in an exceptional effort in game one, a lot of energy, and Brady Noling, of course, made 42 saves. A lot of them were really positional, but it just showed, how sound his fundamentals were in preventing the CHL from, really, really uh, impacting the game as much as they could have. Of course, it was an empty net goal that sealed things, but, just as a result of that sound play, which I think was reflected well by his teammates, as well as their effort in winning races and puck battles and other essential parts of the game that really sealed the deal for it, despite, the dominant effort in terms of, overall possession maintenance and such by Team CHL and their high, level of talent. Um, I think that was really the defining characteristic of this series at large, was that. Um, and that's just, how it got done. Uh, yeah, you look at the disparity as noted by NHL.com here specifically. I will give credit to journalist Mike G. Morial for this. Like there were 13 A-ranked prospect skaters on this Team CHL roster, but their power play didn't get it done. That was one thing, and just I felt like they were just outworked. Really, that was something I just saw as like a pattern that really played out in game one. And what's fascinating about this series at large is that Mitch L. Brown was very quick to make the advanced stats available on his Patreon, which I recommend, which he co-runs with Lassie Allen and his European prospect specialist colleague, which I highly recommend people subscribe to because there's some really high-end, very good granular data in there available at a low cost. All of the top game score players were from Team CHL. Like, you have to go pretty down low on the list to find an American skater on there. And yet, they scrapped their way to a win in this series. Well, I'll pull up the summary of game two in just a moment. Yeah, it is interesting. Harrison Bodiger was on the US NTDP roster last year. I was thinking about that, as was JP Hurlbert, who scored the first goal in game two. I think maybe it was either 31 or 32 seconds in. Let me double check on that. Yeah, I got to give credit. Xavier Villeneuve was the best game scorer player on this in this entire tournament. And I think this was like I agree with Justin Giampietro's perspective that he shared on X, formerly known as Twitter, wherein he said that his status as an undersized defenseman, is not going to be something that holds him back from being picked high. He's just that good as a genuine TWD. Like Yeah, I'm a big fan of saying the full-fledged letters only version of that abbreviation. Um, I think that his just skill level, his motor, like his sound game in so many areas, because I really think Canada were blown apart by mental mistakes at certain points, but he was sharp really the entire time from what I can remember. And like in game two they were also foolish when it came to discipline, but just focusing in on him, like I think that Villeneuve is going to be just, he's just going to be unavoidable. I think he's going to be the early round selection that he's projected as now because just like his game is so adept in so many different areas. Like even though he is, yeah, correctly observed as known as primarily, an OFD in terms of reputation by Adam Kimmelman in this piece. Um, or article, I should say. I don't like the word piece because it implies that it is incomplete. Uh, but this like we're seeing more dimensions to his game, and like with this being like a great showcase for that, to the point where the undersized OFD from the QMJHL on top of all of this, Blainville Boisbriand Armada being his club specifically, uh, like it's he's just going to be someone that his skill level is just so sublime that is unavoidable. It's like, not to belabor this any further, but it's just going to be someone you have to take. Yeah, Carson Carell's primary assist on that goal. Luke Carruthers, of course, got the start in Game 2 for the US NTDP as alternating goaltenders is the standard practice for this series, as has been established by this year and its inaugural um, iteration last year. 14 goals in front of the net last year. Yeah, I mean, it that's something to have in the toolkit for sure. Let's see, space creation, fast play, well-timed hip check. Yeah, yeah, this is all very good stuff. All defensemen and points in the QMJHL. Yeah, what Victor Plant did on the game-winning goal, because so Team Canada, Team CHL, Team Canadian Hockey League, I suppose, if I want to be verbose, again, uh, you know, they won one game two in regulation 4-3, but of course fell in the super overtime to a Victor Plant goal, with him having also scored a goal in the regulation or game two, depending on your game two or three, depending on the definition of terms in this very complex system, which the announcing team just barely understood. That is the in-game crew. The I think the intermission crew did a better job with it, understanding and conveying it. And I'll say Craig Button maybe was a little bit more dialed in, but nevertheless, although he kind of had his slip ups as well, as you would expect from him. The same guy who said that they have Team CHL, they have the shot thought SHOTTHOT last year. I will never forget that, and I will make sure that it is not forgotten. But yeah, Plant. Yeah, he scored a goal in regulation as well. He scored that as well. But what was interesting is how the manner in which he played the puck to himself effectively, or off the boards, just to keep it alive when there was nothing there. It's a remarkable instinctual skill play, but it's also just a really good work rate thing. Yeah, I won't play too much of this. I don't want to chance anything.
Here's Sammy Nelson.
I'm not gonna play the whole minute.
Around through the middle. Plant wristers.
Yeah, they don't actually, it might be part of the replay. Let's take a look.
Here, but now as he gets up the way he falls, watch what he does with his stick to keep it from going the other way.
Yeah, gets it to
Puck
himself,
stays
to a
alive,
teammate,
goes back
cuts
down,
out.
and then
I mean, that's just pure workman stuff right there. It takes a high level of precision also, but like, you know, I just yeah, he of course busts out the heartbreaker celebration as you know, a Patrick Kane homage as his biggest inspiration. Yeah, while we're at it, one thing that these articles leave out is that Mikey Burchild also put in some really high effort, high intensity play in these couple of games. Impacted the score sheet as well, as you would expect from the guy who's been touted as the best prospect from the US NTDP for like this season and last, and I guess had high expectations for him placed on him for like a bit. Um, and like it was, satisfactory. I'd say it was more than satisfactory how much he contributed to this. Like, he just like I think that the game does come easy to him to a certain point. Like it's one of those things that's been evident for a long time as I've like done a deep dive on his dev career. I've written an article about him in the past. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah. We do not have the same search engine optimization on DuckDuckGo that we have on Google, apparently. That's unfortunate. Oh, there I am. Yeah, it won't be too far back. What, are you kidding? Okay, so that is apparently not. I'm learning now that we can't. That URL chain does not work. Also, no, I guess the whole site is down. That's interesting. Let me try a workaround here. What? Wow, okay. What a way to, you know what? I'm not even going to edit this out because I am finding out in real time that I am having trouble accessing my own web domain, and I think that's a funny moment that I want to share with my audience. Maybe it'll be back up tomorrow by the time this comes back. But yeah, I'll just pull up his elite prospects page. That's entertaining. I wonder, is it a WordPress issue? Let's just do this for education's sake. Yeah, there nothing currently. Huh. Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense. I would find out under these circumstances, given, I've had other things to do today, as we all have. Uh, that's pretty entertaining. That's good content right there. Like, that's like this is like something you would have as like a reel, just, for entertainment's sake. All right. Sault Ste. Marie. I mean, yeah, obviously, Yeah, he had quite the career at Shattuck. For just one manifestation of that, committed to University of Denver. Let's see. So this year, the regular schedule is, it's decent. Yeah, it's not working with a lot. I can foresee him being like the kind of guy who elevates his game playing alongside better players. He's had a rough go in his dev, having to play in like a week downtime period time for um you know the a week not a great time period for the US NTDP. He's kind of like a premium version of Jack Murtagh in that respect, in my opinion. Uh, you know, 18U prep 60 points in 49 games at 14-15 is pretty absurd. Actually, more like, yeah, 15-16. It's more than respectable, I'd say. Um I think there's a version of him we've still yet to see that will be unlocked as the burden on him is lightened. Uh, to that point, I know I'm kind of getting tangential here. We had this go down. This will be the one traditional CHL headline there is it is a big move shaker. It's like a big, yeah, okay. It's a big move. That's a big like earth shaker to the OHL and to Luchenko's dev because now he's playing alongside several other first round draft picks from the NHL. Jake O'Brien, Adam Juracek, Marek Vanaker. I feel like there's one more I'm forgetting. I was supposed to reference the an Instagram post about this. I always click remember me and then it never does. I don't care if you guys see my personal email, it's fine. You can send me your best zingers. Like I expect at least one person to say something about my stubble. Yeah, hold on. You know what? Actually, what I'll do, I think we reposted it to our Instagram. Now that I remember, I think on it. Yeah, I can find it more efficiently that way. What do you what do you mean? You know what? I'll just go right there and go to the reposts. Man, what is going on with my logins? Man, let's see. Can you not access those on? Oh man, hold on. Well, I'm gonna bust my phone out. It's bad form, but I'm gonna do it. Oh my God, shut up. Okay, yeah, that was freaking annoying. I clicked the so normally when I click the yeah, I'm not again. That one was brief at least, so I won't edit that part out either, but like the like I clicked the screen which is supposed to mute it right away and it didn't work. Like that's it's supposed to mute reels. Like I did it and it just didn't work, which is stupid. I just let's see. So per John Wright, also known as at Sarnia Sting fan on X.com, since the OHL's inception in 1985, players who were already drafted in the first round of the NHL draft have never played on the same team. The Bulldogs will change that when Ben Danford, Adam Juracek, Jake O'Brien, Jet Luchenko, and Merrick Vanaker take to the ice together. Like they were already a competitive squad, and now they're just like you know, they're just a force, and I'm really excited to see what this does, what this team can do, you know. Yeah, what did I say? I wasn't really looking too closely at the screen. I'm not looking closely at anything today. I've had a few embarrassing mental lapses, just not with it. Yeah, it's not a chemistry issue for teams. Yeah, I basically said. We also talked about sports betting a bit. Oh man, yeah, okay. There is one thing I did. There was an interesting conversation I had about the anime adaptation of Tuganaki that was a little bit risque. That I'm kind of glad didn't make it out of the screen there. But I scrolled back and stopped just before that came up. So that's the only potentially incriminating thing that could have happened there. It was just like it wasn't totally like unacceptable compared to some other things that have happened on our various AV format products, but yeah, I would rather not go there today. But yeah, I think that this kind of demonstrated that I'm not going to say that this proved that the USNTDP is better or equal to the CHL in terms of, being a NCAA feeder system. Because at this point, I think that is a narrative that might even be of more consequence in this showdown than like its status as a draft showcase. If not that, then maybe it's about on equal footing. But I would say that it does demonstrate that the USNTDP still has potential viability as a dev path for college hockey, and that the Forbidden Door, opening, allowing CHL players into NCAA D1 has not completely overcome that. Um, like I just think that this was just a very sound squad that worked very hard, and I think has more uh dimensions to their potential to unlock. I thought that was very cool to see. Um, but yeah, we'll just quickly bat out what happened in the college circuit last week, and then we can call it an episode. Because who's gonna spend their Black Friday listening to me ramble and just look at this shit on the screen as I decide or attempt to decide what direction I want to take things in. Yeah, so last weekend, was there anything really good? Yeah, there were a lot of games, and I don't really feel like there wasn't really much of anything special. Yeah, Northeastern defeating BU 3-2 was kind of cool, I guess, if not totally unexpected. Yeah, let's see. So the goal summary goes John McNeil's opening things off with assists from Mick Frechette and Ryder Ritchie. So the Terriers had the first lead of the game, but Andy Moore had the response. Uh, in fact, though, they blew two different leads. Of course, there was just 1-0 and 2-1. Uh, with Austin May having a response for Nick Rakunikis. And Connor actually had the game-winning goal in this matchup, so that's cool. You know, I think this. I do think that it is kind of like a whatever situation to an extent. Because this is just another moment in which BU, who had the best recruiting class in Hockey East, continues to underachieve this year. Uh, I don't know. I think there's just um I think maybe the expectations were just set too high for some of these recruits, but I don't know. I would also like to see some of the uh you know some of the returnees step up their games a bit. I think I as much cool shit as Iserman and Hudson have done, like I would think they could be recording a lot more points than they have. I haven't loved their games this year. They've provided me with excitement, but not really significantly more or even any more than they did last year. Let's take a look at both of their EPs, just why not? I'm a big believer in this guy throughout his dev, I'll tell you that. Yeah, yeah, he missed out on that U18's gold, but got that World Junior. He was a pure sniper while being like 13th forward for large swaths of it, if I remember correctly. That was at the beginning of this year. Yeah, yeah, he didn't have that. He didn't have like a gigantic leap on the score sheet, but he scored some. I remember, I feel like those goals were at least, you know, there was some timeliness. Yeah, see, I don't know. I don't know what to say about this whole thing. Like, I really just, I don't know how you just get worse. Uh, There's still plenty of season left. They have like a whole other semester of games to play. As weird of a turn of phrase as that is, but Man, yeah, Hudson is doing all right, but like I don't know. It's 64 PIMs last year. I don't I kind of like I think I've underestimated the disciplinary issues he's had with taking dumb penalties in the over the course of his development, but I mean it hasn't stopped him from being even more productive than his brother was. Yeah, I don't know. I think this could there I still think this could be higher. I just I will say I do like that this he's just like currently has like a higher plus minus than he did all of last season, but yeah, there's just something wrong going. Like I do think that. So I was a little bit tempered in my expectations for BU because like I did think they did well in a nominal sense in their recruiting, but like I just had more faith really in terms of who's really going to take the leap when it came to like what the Big Ten and the NCHC schools were doing, and it's not even because a Big Ten school got McKenna, because I'm not even particularly shocked by that. I am disappointed, but like I just feel like scored like a bunch of big fish while having a decent foundation already. Like the NCHC's been dominant recently, and the Big Ten has been turning the corner. Um, Of course, Mish State has had a weekend to forget, and we'll touch upon that momentarily. But um, I don't know. I just like I was like they're gonna be good, but they're not gonna be that good. And now it's like they're like in the top 20 because of vibes. That's really what it is. Like I think that they should not be. Uh, they should either be hanging by a thread or they shouldn't be in the top 20 at all. Like I don't even think they deserve to be 18th. Let's see. Boston College defeated uh were defeated by the University of Maine by a score of 3-0 on that same weekend. Uh what the hell? Yeah, did I skip forward? Yeah, I did. Yeah, Saturday. Let's keep looking at the Friday slate for just a little bit longer, in case there's anything else I want to talk about. Yeah, they were defeated. Maine was defeated 7-3 the previous night, but were able to enact revenge. Let's look at this a little bit. Blah 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 blah. Um, yeah, let's see. Let's look at a score summary. Yeah, Laterno, he's been pretty good this year. Like the offense has finally broke out for him. And I think he's also positioned better to get more minutes. So like yeah, good for him. Yeah, this whole thing is like fucked up. They don't have it marked right, but yeah, they scored the first three goals of the game. It says Maine there, as you see, which is fucking stupid. Uh, it glitches out like that on occasion, I've noticed. Yeah, Ryan Kahn made 2 goal game. Granted, one of them was an empty netter when the game was effectively well out of reach. I just assume Maine wanted to recoup some goal differential there. Uh, and no one really got it done on the power play in that game, which is kind of entertaining. Like, obviously, Letourneau and Poirier had one apiece, but these are mostly even strength goals. James Higgins, of course, was ultimately credited with the winner. I'm sure Bruins fans that are tracking his development are happy about that. He also has scored the second goal of the game. Uh, Pretty good showing from Teddy Stiga as well. 1 goal, couple of assists. Uh, Moving on. Man. Yeah, we've been tracking Omaha a fair bit, and they unfortunately lost 7-2 to Western Michigan that day. Um, and you know what? It's like, they have the sort of middling record, but like, for them to even like be at 500 is like pretty remarkable, considering that they have the second highest strength of schedule. They with their matchup against Yale this weekend, that's the first time that they won't be facing a nationally ranked opponent, which is like part of why like it's been entertaining for me to watch them. Is like these guys are well in over their heads with who they have to play night in and night out. Or well, usually every weekend is how that goes down. These guys are students after all, and yet, they aren't totally outclassed, and they're able to pound their way through it and get respectable results given the cards that they're dealt, which is part of why I've been so wrapped up in them. Like they're in a hard, hard, hard conference, and yet, you know, they're standing tall and respectably, and they're just gonna be all the better for it by playing better competition as like a group that seems to be pretty tight knit and cohesive. I don't know necessarily what they're gonna have to show for it at the end of the year, but it'll be useful for their dev. And like, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these guys are signing pro contracts at some point. The Golden Gophers defeated the Penn State Nittany Lions by a score of 3-2 in regulation as the underachieving of Penn State continues. I don't know why they're still ranked as high as they are. It's kind of that's really the most pathetic joke that there is in the coaches poll. Like I don't understand the glaze that they just continue to get while this very good team does not do anything of consequence. They don't beat anybody good. I'm not impressed by their record. It's meaningless. Like because they very rarely have any put in any convincing victories. They barely beat teams that they should trounce. I'm tired of this. But yeah, Alex Begley, Brody Zimmer, and Mason Moe combined to erase the 2-0 lead, which of course is a cursed lead, as you know if you talk to me at all about the sport of ice hockey. Um, Created by Reese Lawbox, 2 goals in the first period. McKenna got the primary assist on one of those, but yeah. I have openly wondered if, he's at 4 goals, but so is Keaton Verhoff, and I've actually wondered if Verhoff will get his fifth before McKenna gets his. It's worth asking, and for no other reason that, the Fighting Hawks are what they should be, even though they are not currently higher ranked than them. Yeah, the biggest narrative was Wisconsin's sweep of then number one ranked Michigan State, who have now bumped down to three. Their rivals are, of course, the Michigan Wolverines are now ranked number one in the U.S. Yeah, let's take a deep dive here. Daniel Russell and Porter Martone, yeah, another 2-0 lead blown. The Wisconsin Badgers scored 4 goals in the second period. Christian Fitzgerald, Blake Montgomery, Adam Petila, and Tyson Dick. Riker Lee had a response, but Ryan Botterill had an answer for that. Porter Martone had a goal to bring him back within one. Just over halfway through the third period, but the Badgers got it done. They're off sneakily to a very, very good start this year. and now they're finally getting respect put on their name and have this, uh, as well as the rematch result to their names. Yeah, 2-1 overtime victory. Uh, yeah, Montgomery scored the opening goal on that one. Martone had a response as he continues his very good season, but Ben Dexheimer, with assists from Christian Fitzgerald and Vasily Zelenov, had the overtime winner for the Badgers as they had their biggest highlight of the season go down over the weekend with these back-to-back results. We're almost at the point where we can cap this off. Then I will talk about my prospect of the week. And uh, yeah, Western Mish unfortunately completed the sweep against Omaha 4-2. Um, yeah, they didn't go down quietly. Anyways, they cut it to 3-2. Just a little overmatched. It just happens, you know. Despite some losses, you know, the defending national champs, you know, in terms of roster talent, you know, they still have a lot of good players. So it's something that happens. Yeah, let me see. Arizona State defeated number three ranked Denver 3-2 in overtime on Sunday as well. Uh, I mean Saturday, sorry. Yeah, two goals by Sam Harris to erase a 2-0 victory accumulated by Carmelo Crandell and Jack Beck. But Cullen Potter had the OT winning goal. So that was how the cookie crumbled for the Pioneers in that matchup. As you know, ASU, despite their hot start, not. I mean, well, not even. Despite their high expectations going into the year, really a vaunted team in the eyes of the polls. Hasn't really done that, as you can see by their record. But you know, they've had some highlights here and there, and that's certainly one of them. Good response to that 7-1 trouncing the night before. I had something to find on this page, didn't I? Maybe I'm for. Oh yeah, now I remember what I was gonna look for. Did did Dartmouth play this weekend? Their very respectable results in the ECAC have been me turning my head a bit. Maybe it was on Sunday. Yeah, no, it's Holy Cross versus Alaska Anchorage. Yeah, some action on Tuesday and Wednesday, as you can see. Stonehill got the shootout win over UConn, so it goes in the books as a tie. But you know, for them to do that against the 12th ranked team in the country as what they are, it's to be respected. 3-1 victory by Bentley over Army West Point. But we'll deep dive into the Stonehill game a bit. Yeah, Justin Gibson and Justin Mexico. With the GTG and GWG, or well, no, I'm sorry. Of course, like the game tire and the go ahead goal, and then Carlin Designed was the one who forced overtime. It was not resolved, um, and yeah, do we have that? Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have a summary of that available to us here. Yeah, it's inexcusable on Connecticut's part, but see if we can get a recap. Uh, shut up. Hmm, not here either. That's unfortunate. Uh, yeah, let's take a look. Oh, yeah, there we go. Shootout attempt. Teddy made. Yeah, Teddy Lagerbach scored. Jake Richard was stonewalled by Connor Androlowicz. Uh, yeah, I mean they made both of their first two attempts, and yeah, they got it done 2-1. Matthew Romer getting the second one. Uh, of course, Houston Cartman had made his, but Carlin Dezane was stopped by Connor Androlowicz to end it. You know, really embarrassing on UConn's part, but good for Stonehill to get one like that, even if it is a tie nominally. And yeah, they just had lost so many games. Just to get a point was probably very, very satisfying. Um, I guess we can just take a look at the rankings really quickly nationwide, and then we can just do a deep dive on the prospect that I already discussed, and we can call it an episode. Yeah, USCHO. Michigan, number one with 42 first place votes. Wisconsin's got three, but they're in second due to a 10 points edge over Mich State. 4 or 5, Denver, Minnesota, Duluth, North Dakota, sixth. They went up a bit. Western Michigan, seventh. Quinnipiac, eighth. Penn State, nine. Maine still holding on at 10, thanks to that 3-0 win, which I don't think I looked at as closely as I should have. Let me go back. Was it 3-0? Yeah, because it was 7-3 in the. Yeah, okay. Not getting my scores mixed up here. Let me guess. Josh Nato. 2 goals by Miguel Marquez. Uh, Charlie Russell, Thomas Friel assists. Sully Scholl. Hmm, interesting. No Justin Poirier points. That's surprising. He's been pretty good for them this year, I think. Let's take a look. Yeah, over at PPG. Yeah, the 11 goals in 14 games. Like, there are a lot of really, really fucking good prospects from like the CHL and the US college circuit right now that are not doing what he's doing. I know that conferences are not comparable as we've discussed, but and he's it's also a different situation, but the expectations are also higher for this player uh here than they are for Poirier, and it's pretty close. Like I I just like yeah, hell, I think yeah, I mean shit, only one fewer point in as many games, right? No, no, one fewer point. Yeah, so Poirier's having a better Justin Poirier is, if you're looking at it in a vacuum, of course, is having a better freshman season in college than Gavin McKenna is. So like obviously there are different arguments you can make of like contextually age, supporting cast, opponent, opposition. But I mean, McKenna has was expected to do better because he had a better CHL career at a younger age and was going to a better team. Poirier is on a respectable University of Maine squad, but they don't have like nominally the star power that Penn State has. And Poirier is not the prodigy that McKenna is. Like, I mean, his 2 seasons, his 2 full seasons in the WHL were better than what Poirier did as an older player in the QMJHL, which is a weaker league. And yet he's adjusted to the college environment better. I mean, he also has like a size disadvantage. Like he is 5'8", 185 versus McKenna's like, he's taller. Of course, he's leaner because, he's not put on much muscle as you can see there, but like there's just there's a lot working in McKenna's favor and that it hasn't turned into as much as it should. But yeah, the good bounce back by the Black Bears there. And yeah, I think that covers all the main elements. Um, main. Yeah, we're gonna leave off on this guy. You know, he had a really, really good showing at in those couple of games. We can see all very high prospect rankings for the most part. Some exceptions. Yeah, I'd like to hear this argument for only being 27th overall. Weak shit. Um, yeah, let's see. He is an older prospect for this class, I do have to say. But, he's doing shit that, like, having a lot working against him. He's an archetype that a lot of scouts do not, and GMs do not like. And yet he is so good at what he does and is building upon what was a very, very good D-1 because you can have a great D-1 in the QMJHL and then just completely forget how to play hockey. I mean, we saw it with Emil Guite. Like the the fact that honestly, God, it was the Ducks took him in what, round 6, round 5, and yet you look at what he was in his D-1 of 23, 24. He had this absurd drop off, and now he's having his career high in PPG. But like he did not become what he was supposed to in his draft eligible year. Like he just became like a nobody after having like being one of the guys that placed the expectations for 2025 as a draft class so high. But Villeneuve is having, a phenomenal draft year. Like he is not having that drop off. And I know I'm comparing winger to defenseman here, but they are both offensive-minded players primarily. Although we're seeing in X-Man's case here that there's more to him than just that. And like, you know, McKean's hockey, 6th overall. I really respect their opinions. Smart scouting, they're pretty good as well. 14th, Dobber Prospects. Cam Robinson's kind of hit or miss, but 12th. Elite Prospects is a cohort has him 6th overall. Like, I would keep an eye out. Pretty good accolades to his name already. Like, defenseman of the year as a D-1 rookie in the queue. Like, I respect first team All Star already. Like, defensive rookie of the year, all rookie team. Like, CHL third All Star team. I just, valuable experience, winning experience at the U18s last season. Oh, just over a point per game, +7. And he's a +12 right now. He's a +14 last year. Yeah, he's been his D-2 PPG was pretty damn good. I think this kid is gonna be something for sure. I'm glad that he's being talked about now in the manner that he is. Of course, I gotta, shout out some of the other guys that had good showcases. And JP Hurlburt is leading the WHL in points. Isn't that something? Jackson Jacobson's right behind him and saying, "Hey, I've been saying he's going to be something for a while." Nathan Bain, man, Cameron Schmidt, already a guy who's been drafted into the NHL. Like, what? Why is he not doing more than he is? I do like that his playmaking has opened up a bit. I've talked about this before on the main pod, but whatever. Yeah, on pace for 74 points in 63 games and a plus 33. There's a lot that can happen, of course, but like, it's a long season for those guys. But it's just the things that we're seeing from him. Like, I can see why he's got so many eyes on him currently, and I think there's more to come. But yeah, that covers it for this week. We clocked in at just under an hour. Um, I think that we will be diversifying again briefly for at least the next few weeks until this probably becomes a podcast exclusively about the World Juniors at the turn of the year. Um, but yeah, I hope there's some education here for you guys about individual stories and stuff that it was valuable. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of this holiday weekend.